downtown where you can get a date for 50, 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace price. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella. Discover the dark side of love in this goth and lovely romance with Spinsterella. Get Spinsterella in paperback and e-readers at your favorite online bookseller today. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. Former supermodel Gisele Bündchen is pregnant with her third child. Now, the former supermodel is now pregnant by her new boyfriend, Joaquim-Valente, 2 years after she wound up divorcing her NFL Super Bowl champion husband, Tom Brady. Now, in the aftermath of that divorce from NFL Super Bowl champion Tom Brady, Gisele Bündchen decided to start pursuing a new relationship with Joaquim-Valente, a 35-year-old martial arts instructor who is about 8 years younger than she is. And this entire relationship is one that both of them came together and are saying that they're going to be happy in this new chapter of their life, and they're looking forward to creating a peaceful and loving environment for the whole family. I doubt that the things will be a loving environment for Gisele Bündchen as related to her new relationship with her new boyfriend, because what's happening with Gisele Bündchen is that she's winding up on the road to becoming a feminist indoctrinated woman, like I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis, and winding up on the road to the paradigm of failure that I talk about in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Now, while Gisele Bündchen is not a black woman, she's basically following down a road that leads to the deterioration of many black women's relationships, where their insecurities get the better of them, and that was shown before she filed for divorce from Tom Brady, when he decided to continue pursuing his career in the NFL. And Gisele Bündchen got upset because, according to some reports, he was looking to again continue pursuing this career instead of staying at home with her and growing older together. And as she possibly felt that he didn't keep his promise as related to looking to retire and grow older together as a couple, she looked to break away from Tom Brady. And this is possibly one of the reasons why she possibly looked to file for divorce from Tom Brady and start pursuing this relationship with Joaquim-Valente. And as she pursued this relationship with Joaquim-Valente, it was not from an emotional place of security, because when it comes to older women like Gisele Bündchen, one of the reasons why they wind up pursuing relationships with younger men, is because they are extremely insecure, and to overcompensate for their insecurities, they go looking for a younger man. And they go looking for the younger man because they want to still feel like they still have it as related to being at a high level in the social marketplace, and still believe that they can get the kind of young hot guys that they got in their youth. And this is possibly one of the motivations for the 44-year-old Gisele Bündchen to go out here and get involved with this martial arts instructor she had been training with for several years. And as she got involved with this martial arts instructor, who possibly, I'm speculating, was a side dude, basically looking to get in a relationship with him to validate her feelings as related to not getting those needs met by Tom Brady, what she looked to do with this relationship and taking it public is look to go out here and again sate those feelings that she has as related to her feelings of insecurity and inadequacy regarding remaining attractive and being one of the most beautiful women in the world by having this younger man basically be in her life. And as she has involved with this man, again, she's thinking that she's going to go out here and be with this younger man, and things are going to go on to be happily ever after. However, what's happening with Gisele Bündchen is that she's possibly on a road to a disaster. And she's possibly on a road to a disaster because when it comes to older women who get involved with younger men, a lot of times these women are in a bad place emotionally, and because women are emotional and they're in a place that's bad emotional, they go not looking to be a partner in the relationship and that looks to follow the lead of a man. No, they go looking to be the leader of that man and look to go out here and control that man. And as they look to go and control that man, this is why they get with the younger man, because they want to get power over that man, because they don't want that man to wind up hurting them the way the man who was on their age range, like Tom Brady was. They don't want that man to go out here and hurt them. So what they want to do is have all the power in the relationship. And since they want to have all the power in the relationship, they get involved with the younger man. And as they get involved with the younger man, what they do is look to use sex to control the man. And this guy basically thinks that he hit the jackpot as related to women because he's got a former supermodel out here pursuing him. And as he's basically mesmerized by this woman's fabulous body, her fabulous and amazing breast, and just he's not really thinking about things as related to other parts of her. He's not thinking about how this woman basically was married to another man, has the spirit and DNA of that other man inside of her, and has an emotional connection to that man. And if she hasn't had many sexual partners, she's possibly, again, pair bonded with this man. Not to mention, this woman has an emotional connection to this man through the children that she has with him. Now, this guy's basically thinking that this woman is, now that she's divorced and her kids are getting older, that he's basically going to get full access. But that never really happens. I talk about this in my classic video, in my classic blog, Why Real Men Avoid Single Mothers. You don't want to get involved with a woman who's been divorced or out here a single mom, because you're not going to be a priority, and basically you're not going to be able to lead that woman because she's following behind someone else. But this guy possibly thinks, oh, I've got a woman with a hot body, and she's basically going out here allowing him to be able to get access to what's inside of the skid mark Victoria's Secret thong. And if she pulls down that skid mark Victoria's Secret thong, he will be able to get a taste of the waist from the special place and be able to go out here and brag to his friends that he was able to go out here and get what was in those Victoria's Secret drawers and basically elevate his social status. That's what this guy, Joaquim-Valente, is believing that he's getting, but what he doesn't know he's getting into is what I call a pussy trap in my ebook, Misadventures of Captain Save-'em, where this simp is basically on the road to becoming a trick who's about to be treated to a nightmare as related to this relationship, where he's basically, again, going to be tied to this woman as related to a soul tie with this woman who's already got the soul of another man inside of her, or other men. And basically this woman has a lot of emotional baggage, and in that place, again, he's not going to be the leader in the relationship. He's going to be the follower, and she's going to be looking to dictate to him. And this guy is on the road to being emasculated as he's caught up in this trap, a trap he basically created when he decided to not only get involved with this woman, because he could have just walked away if the relationship is over, but now he's in a road where he's now going to be having a child with this older woman, and this child with this older woman that basically is at 44 years old is now looking to build a family with him. And again, looking to build a family not out of love that she possibly had with Tom Brady, but out of insecurity, because what she wants to do is, again, one, sate her ego, and two, what she wants to do is basically attach herself to this man because she's insecure about losing her first husband, who basically she wound up leaving him because he had a love for football and wanted to go out here. And again, she wanted to have this guy sitting in the house growing old with her. But the whole thing is that Tom Brady basically understands that houses run on money, and you've got to be able to keep making that money. And while he retired from the NFL about a year ago, I think, he's basically in the broadcast booth. He wants to go out here and continue making money, as he's right now possibly in his prime years. He wants to continue capitalizing on his economic prime, but Gisele Bündchen's prime basically ended over years ago. And because her prime ended years ago, that's one of the reasons why she's insecure, because as one of the most beautiful women in the world, she's basically getting older, and she's seeing her social marketplace value decline. She's seeing her marketplace value decline precipitously, and what she didn't know is that she further exacerbated this whole situation by divorcing her husband, Tom Brady, because she went from being a high-status woman in a marriage, because marriage is a very significant thing for a woman. The title of wife is one that elevates a woman in God's order. So she went from being a high-status woman in a marriage to winding up on the road to bust downtown, because her social marketplace value dropped precipitously. And while she's got a boyfriend, she doesn't have a husband. And the thing with boyfriends is that those situations can be ones that can end very easily, especially for a man like a Joaquim-Valente, because this man, again, he has no real commitment to this woman outside of this child now. And basically what he can do now is participate in male hypergamy now that he's gotten his social status elevated, and look to monkey branch to another woman, with her economic resources. This is where things for Gisele Bündchen get as bad as they were for Halle Berry. Now, Halle Berry, when she was about the same age as Gisele Bündchen, after having 2 failed marriages to David Justice and Eric Benet, decided to go out here and get with a younger white man, Gabriel Aubry. And as she got with this French-Canadian model, she wanted to have a baby on her terms. And as she wanted to have a baby on her terms, what happened with Halle Berry is she thought she was going to be able to get a child her way. Now, she wanted to think that she could get this child her way. Unfortunately, the entire game wound up getting flipped on Halle Berry, and it got flipped on Halle Berry because as Gabriel Aubry was looking to work with Halle Berry as related to maintaining an amicable relationship with her, Halle Berry, in her insecurities, looked to manipulate Olivier Martinez into fighting Halle Berry, and this basically led to Gabriel Aubry deciding not to continue to work with Halle Berry, but looked to go out here and drop the full hammer of white supremacy down on Halle Berry, and go out here and request his parental rights. And as he requested his parental rights, what he did was go out here and put Halle Berry under child support, and basically it was getting himself $16,000 a month, which was reduced to $8,000 a month most recently, and basically took a big chunk out of Halle Berry's bag, getting himself paid at her expense for the child that she wanted on her terms. Now, the same thing could happen to Gisele Bündchen as related to this Joaquim-Valente, this 35-year-old younger man. Yes, she could go out here and get the baby with him, trying to secure a relationship to attach him to her. But what he's possibly thinking about is going out here and getting a bag for himself, based on her, again, living very well off of her money that she's made as a Victoria's Secret supermodel, not to mention all the money that she's getting from Tom Brady as related to their divorce. And this guy basically is looking to get possibly a bag for himself. And while she's thinking that she's going to be doing martial arts moves and getting taken down from him, he's possibly thinking about taking her to the cleaners, and possibly thinking about taking her to the cleaners by, again, playing the long game. Because when it comes to these younger men are thinking about economics, while these women are just so caught up in their feelings of insecurity and inadequacy about themselves. And as they're caught up in their feelings of insecurity and inadequacy about themselves and looking to try to sate those feelings, these guys are making chess moves as related to their relationships with them and looking to get a payday for themselves at the expense of these women's feelings. And that's possibly what's happening here with Joaquim-Valente. He's possibly sitting here thinking, oh, here's this older woman who divorced her husband, is feeling insecure about how she's not as attractive as she used to be because she's older at this point and not able to pull like she used to do with all the hot guys. And now that she's got this younger guy paying attention to her, all she's thinking about is, again, trying to get to that place she was in her 20s, thinking about trying to get to that place she was in her 20s. But as she's caught up in her feelings about getting back to where she was in her prime, this guy, who was not in his prime just yet, is looking to get a prime payday by having her child with her. Because again, when it comes to the family courts make the person who makes more money than their spouse go out here and pay for the child support. And this is what possibly Joaquim-Valente is thinking about, grabbing himself a big fat juicy bag from a insecure, desperate older woman. A desperate older woman who basically doesn't see how she's on a road to bust downtown in apartment 11D. And as she's in bust downtown, she's thinking she's gotten a deal as related to this younger dude. But what this dude is looking, as she's involved with her, at a social marketplace value that's 50, 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace price. He's getting himself a deal on this woman who basically has a lot of miles and a lot of baggage and a lot of issues. And basically, this is not going to be a good situation for Gisele Bündchen, as she has this first child. And this dude basically is possibly getting ready to head for the door now that she's going to have her third child at 44. Having a third child at 44 basically is not an optimal place for a guy, because at that point, basically, the box is completely crumpled at that point, and it's like a hot dog through a hallway. So this may not be, again, an optimal situation for this guy as related to the relationship, but it may be one that's optimal to him because he's thinking about the cash. Because when it comes to these guys out here, these younger guys, when these older women get with them, most of them are thinking about grabbing a bag. And Gisele Bündchen, being on the road to bust downtown, doesn't see how she's about to get fleeced. Sadly, she's caught up in her feelings trying to still be the young, hot one, but she's cooled off a long time ago. She cooled off way back when she got with Tom Brady, and instead of working with Tom Brady, she's getting worked over by this younger guy. She's getting worked over as related to getting her head gassed up by this younger simp, who basically, again, is just looking to, again, clout chase and looking to, again, get with this woman to elevate his social status and brag to his friends that he's out here having sex with a supermodel. But now that he's basically gotten this woman pregnant, he's in a situation where it's not going to go well outside of money, and that's possibly where things are going to fall apart for Gisele Bündchen, who just basically should have, I seen it, weathered the storm with Tom Brady. Yeah, he was getting older too, and basically he was looking to stay in the NFL because he didn't want to leave, because he knew that there was nothing for him at home, nothing but stress and drama at home, because if he had stayed home with her, she would have been arguing with him and basically lost respect for him. She would have lost respect for Tom Brady, because had he stayed home like she planned, she would be looking at him and seeing how he was not providing for the family and not leading the family, and she would have basically filed for divorce anyway at that point. So at this point, the only winner in this situation is Tom Brady, who was smart enough to just basically remain indifferent, similar to the way Corey Hardrick has remained indifferent as related to his divorce from Tia Mowry. And Tom Brady has just gone on with his life, saying that he's going to focus on his 2 kids with Gisele Bündchen and his child by another woman. And for him, this doesn't look like a rodeo for him that he is not familiar with. he basically is handling it the way he handled his other baby mama. And as Gisele Bündchen is out here, she's thinking she's going to, again, try to keep her high status, but her status basically dropped years ago, and she's in for a rude awakening, very similar to the one that Tia Mowry is in right now. I mean, Tia Mowry is in a room with a rude awakening as she's entered the social marketplace, and Gisele Bündchen, at 44 years old, basically is going to be in for a rude awakening when this dude, after he has this kid with her, all he's going to get with her is for the spousal support, and he's going to be looking at another woman because this 44-year-old woman ain't going to be doing it for him at this point. No, not going to be the one he's checking for, because he never really was checking for her. He was checking for that bag, and he was going to go out here and put a karate chop on that bag and basically gas this woman's heads up. And as he gassed her head up, he got himself a nice big fat juicy bag, and that's what he's hoping to get as related to things. And again, the winner here is Tom Brady, because as an older man, he's in his prime, and now he's in a place where his kids are grown, and he can now go out here and basically live his later years out here, possibly going out here with his kids, and possibly look for another woman, because this woman basically, again, was the one who filed for divorce, and filed for divorce to get away from a man who she could have worked with. She could have worked with this dude and basically worked through this rough patch, but now she's on the road to a rougher patch where this guy who she's with is basically going to drop her, that when she starts to further hit the wall and starts to lose her looks and starts to lose her social status, after she has this child, she's basically going to be in a place where nobody's going to be calling or checking for her, and this is where this guy is going to bolt with a nice payday, leaving her to wind up another bitter single mother, and there will be a fall from grace to go from a supermodel to a single mom. And again, this is the sad part that leads to Gisele Bündchen, again, one of the most beautiful women in the world, winding up in an ugly situation where she's basically on a road to a paradigm of failure, and all part of a disturbing trend I'm seeing with older women who are a part of established marriages that they go out here and think they can divorce their husbands because they buy into the feminist idea that they have all the time in the world, not understanding that their time was up years ago. And as they try to re-enter the social marketplace and try to get a second act, what they wind up is in a final act that's going to be a tragedy and basically be a disaster all around, because what's happening here with Gisele Bündchen is, again, she's in a bunch of trouble with this situation, and again, doesn't see where she's going with the big picture, doesn't see where things are going very badly for her, how she's going from being blessed by God with a family to winding up in a place where she's gonna be a baby mama in her older years. And it's really sad. Again, this is this woman who's going to be 45 years old, and she's going to be a baby mama in her older age, and because she's not in a place where she has a husband at this point, and it's a bad place to be going into your older age and having to deal with a baby and then having to see that child grow up without any sort of foundation, because again, she was too insecure to see if this man would commit to her. I mean, when you're with a guy and he's just going out here getting draws, again, with younger guys, when they're just going out here getting draws, they're not really making a commitment because they don't see anybody to commit to. And if a man is serious about committing to a woman, he's going to offer up a marriage proposal instead of just looking to just get you pregnant. And that's something I put in a novel, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. I talk about how a man is supposed to show if he's serious, he's going to propose to you. But the whole thing is that she got in this indecent proposal because she was in her feelings of insecurity. And as she was in her feelings of insecurity, she got involved with this man. And now she's on the road to bust downtown and on the road to going from being a wife with a family to eventually winding up becoming what another woman in crisis caught up in a paradigm of failure. Now, if you want to learn how women like Gisele Bündchen get the framework of thinking that leads to them winding up in situations like this where they still are trying to still be the hottie At 44 years old, you can pick up my book, The Woman Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Woman Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to learn how women indoctrinated into feminism wind up on this paradigm of failure where they never find happily ever after, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Why 70% of Black Women Are Single at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And this was a video requested by a viewer, and if you want to request a video, you can drop a donation for a minimum of $15 to the PayPal or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. If that's all I have to say for this video, you can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.